We believe that human beings evolved from ape-like ancestors. This gradual process of evolution took more than 3 billion years. However, at every step of evolution, we have left our ancestors behind. We have never seen our long-lost ancestors. But if we have not seen them, how can we be so sure of their existence? Ever since life originated, humans have been the most recent species to have appeared on Earth. We know for sure that dinosaurs lived. However, they lived ages ago, and we do have pieces of evidence that prove their existence. There is paleontological, morphological and anatomical, embryological, biochemical and physiological, and biogeographical evidence to prove the theory of evolution of life on Earth. Before looking at the evidences of evolution, it is important to know why we need to study evolutionary history. The study of evolution helps us to understand the degree of relatedness between species. The understanding of evolution helps us to know whether two species are closely related, or whether they are distant cousins. Tracing evolutionary relationships reveals the rich biodiversity of the living world, which is important for human survival in many ways. Let's look at a hypothetical example. Suppose that a newly evolved virus causes infection in humans. When scientists start studying the history of its evolution, they detect that the new virus resembles another virus for which the best course of treatment is already known. Such discoveries can be a boon to mankind, as this information can be used for finding out treatment methods against the new virus. Thus, the study of evolution unravels many mysteries of the living world that might be useful for human survival. Paleontology studies the evolution of life by studying fossil records. Do you know what fossils are and how they are formed? Fossils are the remains or traces of any organisms that lived in the geological past. Now, let's see how fossil records can help in studying evolution. Millions of years ago, when only invertebrates existed on Earth, they died and eventually got embedded into sedimentary rock. Years later, when the dinosaurs died, they underwent the same process of fossilization and formed another layer of rock on top of the invertebrates. Later, when mammals started thriving on land, they formed another layer on the top as they died. So, now if a paleontologist starts digging for fossils, he would find on top the animal that lived most recently. The layer below it would be one of older species, and further below would be fossils of the most ancient animals. Thus, the depth at which fossils are found indicates the geological times during which different species lived. A classical example is the Grand Canyon of Arizona, where the erosive action of the Colorado River has exposed sedimentary layers spanning a time frame of 500 million years. The fossil remains from these different layers have helped us to understand how different living organisms evolved over time. The age of a fossil is estimated by measuring the amount of naturally occurring radioactive elements present. Carbon dating and potassium-argon dating are the commonly used methods of dating fossils. While scientists found fossils of reptiles and of birds at the same time, they came across fossils of an animal that looked like a blend of reptile and bird. It had teeth and a long tail, like reptiles, wings, like birds. This animal is Archaeopteryx, which may have lived 150 million years ago. It is believed to be a missing link between reptiles such as dinosaurs and birds. Discovery of the Archaeopteryx helped scientists conclude that present-day birds may have evolved from reptiles. Different species of the animal kingdom show the same set of bones: the humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. Such structures, which are alike across different species and perform different functions in different species, are called homologous structures. The presence of homologous structures indicates that different species may have evolved from a common ancestor. Such evolution is called divergent evolution. There is something called convergent evolution too. By comparing a bat with a bird, can you guess what convergent evolution is? The wings of bat and birds, though performing the same function, that of flight, have quite different structural organizations. Such structures are called analogous structures, and they are characteristic of convergent evolution. Do you know that the human body has a tailbone, like other animals' bodies? However, it has no specific function. Organs like this, which remain undeveloped and have no evident function in the body, are called vestigial organs. Other vestigial organs in the body are the vermiform appendix, the nictitating membrane of the eye, and the wisdom teeth. The existence of such vestigial organs has been used as strong evidence for evolution. It is thought that they performed a normal function in the ancestor, but have been reduced to such an extent in present organisms that they have lost their original function. Look at these two images. They are embryos of two different living species. Can you identify which of them is a human embryo? One of these is the embryo of a reptile, and the other is that of a human. However, you can see that there is hardly a difference. The human embryo has a tail and pharyngeal gill pouches, just like the reptilian embryo. Such similarities in the embryos of different species is explained by Ernst Haeckel's Ontogeny Recapitulates Phylogeny. It claims that during its development, the embryo of a particular species passes through the same stages as the species did during its evolution from its ancestors. The entire living world is made up of the same set of complex molecules, such as DNA, RNA, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Moreover, it cannot be a mere coincidence that all living organisms, from single-celled prokaryotes to complex eukaryotes such as humans, inherit traits from their parents in the form of genes. All proteins in the living world are made up of the same set of 20 amino acids. Such similarities are evidences of common descent. Physiological processes such as circulation of blood through the heart are the same across different living species. Such similarities also prove that we have all evolved from a common ancestor. The role of geographical distribution in evolution can be studied from the evolution of Darwin's finches on the Galapagos Islands, located away from the west coast of South America. In the early 19th century, Charles Darwin set sail to the Galapagos Islands during the second voyage of the Beagle. Darwin collected evidence of evolution of 14 different species of finches that had evolved according to the geographic environment of the islands. Currently, marsupials such as kangaroos mainly inhabit the continent of Australia. However, the oldest fossils of marsupials are found in the continent of South America and not in Australia. How did marsupials travel from South America to Australia? It is believed that millions of years ago, the present-day continent of South America was connected to Australia via Antarctica. Thus, the theory of continental drift explains the evolution of species across the world.